Hey everybody, it's Cheri Dotterer, your classroom coach. I am here today at Tier 1 Interventions podcast. My sister podcast is The Writing Glitch. And this past week, we offered some really amazing things on both podcasts. On Saturday Math, it was such a powerful conversation that we aired the entire hour and a half episode on Tuesday. And on Thursday, we aired Impact Wednesday, which was a follow up to that session. The conversation on in Saturday Math was about cognitive science of math and what are some of the terms that Jonily and I use when we are teaching the instruction methods that we are teaching. And that is spaced repetition, interleaving, spaced practice, and cognitive feedback. I hope I got them right.
The biggest component of improving number sense is counting. The foundational gap filler for any math deficit is counting. So we're going to take counting to the extreme today. We can do that in many ways, but today we're going to take counting to the extreme with staircase. I'm going to back up and layer two other intros before we answer that first question with staircase. The Tier 1 interventions topics is staircase. I want to go into what staircase looks like in season 1. The staircase, which is the counting and the number sense. Tier 1 math interventions, reference task number 8 of the Dirty Dozen is the staircase. And the staircase is like a quick dot. The quick dot module is another module. If you want to watch and listen to that if you're watching the recording of this, you might want to pause the staircase recording and go listen to the quick dot module because you'll get the foundation of what a quick dot is. I'm not going to re-explain that here, but I want to make that connection. How do we improve memory and retention of content? We come back to this. We come back to the original part in January. This is maybe the third interaction. Maybe this is the 10th interaction because your kids love staircase so much, you do it once a week. Maybe in January, this is only the second interaction. Or with this new group of 7th graders that I partnered with this year, this month in January, this is our first interaction with staircase. Okay, so it doesn't matter. We bring back the original slide, tell me about blah, 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 whatever. Once we have kids creating questions, and once I've created some teacher questions for this, which you know what I didn't put in there, this is going to be a reminder for me. In Tier 1 interventions, we have what we call task packets. And I will drop this into that's why I didn't drop it, because it's not in my task packet folder. There are task packets that actually have, and I'll pull one up for another problem, but I'll put the staircase one in there, where the image is displayed, and then all of the questions that kids create and I create, we put basically in a packet, we put the question and we leave space. And then when I copy it for students, I put 3 blank pages at the end, because the task is like a task that never ends. Then I copy these packets for kids. And the goal is not to go through and answer all the questions. The goal is I might say to kids, hey, we're going to do staircase task packet next Tuesday. I'm going to give you guys 30 minutes to work on staircase task packet. And this gives me an opportunity to pull a small group at my teacher table and work on subtraction that kids are missing while the other kids are engaged in answering some of these staircase questions. And then if they finish the packet, which kids should never finish the packet in the year that it was created, they actually go to the blank pages and create more questions for that task that they're going to answer. It's the task that never ends. This math task packet set of questions is what's going to drive this independence for students to be able to work independently while I am able to pull small groups in my classroom. I can do Tier 2 intervention in my classroom through the structure of the Dirty Dozen tasks, if I set it up this way and create question packets, so I can just be like, look, I need to work with these 6 kids on subtraction. Next Tuesday, I need the rest of my kids to be independently engaged and not come and ask me questions. Now, in reading, we can get a just right pick book. There's a whole process on how to get kids a just right book. I can say to kids, go read for 20 minutes, and kids can independently read. Never before have we had that parallel to mathematics. We can now with reference tasks. Reference tasks to mathematics is just like the just right book for reading, so that we can encourage independent mathematics, so that I can actually work with a small group of students and the rest of the kids are not just busy on busy work, but they're busy working independently on a high level, complex math task that they can not only focus and engage on, but they can get into a flow state that Cheri was talking about with mathematics. Y'all, this has never been done before in K-12. And this is the
Can I?
model that's going to help us do that. Cheri.
Okay, I'm going to interject here, and that is we can have the OT and or speech at another small group table doing tier 2, 3 interventions in the classroom, which is going to blow an OT's mind that they don't have to take them somewhere else into this little corridor in the back of some music room somewhere, but stay in the classroom, have your own group that you're adapting the work for them while the teacher has the small group tier 2 going on with the other students. So you could actually be pulling out 1 or 2 students, creating your small groups and creating an engaged, purposeful, meaningful, connected environment for the students.
This is when what Cheri and I say, we don't want to eliminate pull out tier 2 and tier 3. We don't want to eliminate that all together. There's a time and a place for it. But least restrictive environment means as much as we can serve kids in the regular tier 1 classroom, it's going to benefit so many more students. So if really all of this should be called tier 1, and we can try to make a lot of tier 2, tier 3 happen in tier 1, but then as the classroom teacher gives kids like, hey, next Tuesday, we're going to have 30 minutes to do this, then the support person or the special ed teacher and the classroom teacher might say, you know what, this is a perfect 30 minutes. You're going to get 30 solid minutes. It might be best to pull the kids out of the classroom at that time. That way they're not missing any instruction. And these kids are going to be doing the same thing that the rest of the class is doing, but they can do it targeted to their IEP. We've really got to.
What I'm proposing is that it happens at a table in the classroom.
Agreed.
I know,
Also,
and I know this is going to like blow OT's minds because I hear them say, "How do you create that environment? How do you schedule that?" It takes planning. It takes coordination with the teachers. It takes a little different mindset than what we've been doing in the past, and that we get this list and we have to plug them into a schedule, and no matter when that schedule is, we're only there 1 day a week. But if we are strategically planning this, not only could we convert our profession into a full-time position in the school system, we would be able to engage and collaborate more efficiently, more effectively with the entire staff. And then we wouldn't have, what is OT? As one of the questions coming from the teachers.
but here's the hang up. Here's the hang up. And I'm a teacher, so I'm going to pick on us for a moment. The hang up is OTs, if you're bought in and you're like, yes, I want to do this. I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of math teachers on this planet do not have this model and structure in place. So you, as the occupational therapy teacher, service provider, you're going to be beating your head against the wall because you're like, yeah, but the math teachers that I work with don't teach this way. So see, it's a whole chicken and egg thing too. And we can't wait on each other to change before we start to push the change. So I get it. This can't happen unless the regular tier one math classroom core teacher is invested in this model.
And
That
that's
is
why
why it's
I
so
absolutely
important.
love it. Now, Janet's not here today, but Janet Lane has been partnering with the OT in her 7th grade classroom, and they are starting to create a collaborative environment where the OT is doing some of this work that we are suggesting. And the OT has come to participate in some of the Impact Wednesday, Saturday math events to start to get a taste of what we're sharing. We just need to give her a little bit more push.
Now, here's the thing. If you're listening to this, if you're listening to this recording and you're like, how do I do this in my school? What you need is an extension of what Cheri just talked about. You need a team of people to sign up for Tier 1 Interventions course. And on that team needs to be the curriculum leader, the school principal, the math regular classroom teacher, the special ed teacher, and the direct service provider. And it could be more people, but you need that team to all sign up for Tier 1 Interventions course, and you all need to go through the course together for a year. And I would even say before you even implement one thing in the classroom. Now, you're going to get so inspired that you're going to be like, I want to implement some things tomorrow. Go ahead. But really give yourself some grace. Don't worry about changing anything. Just take the course with your team for a year. You get a 12-month membership. Take the course, but it's got to be your team for a year. Then think about what that looks like in your building. That is your first step. Anybody
So
else want to say anything on that?
let me clarify that. The courses you will have access to for a lifetime.
Oh,
You get a
yeah.
year coaching with Jonily and I.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you'll have the digital stuff for your life, for the lifetime. Okay, but let's get back to business here. So we come back to staircase and we start to ask some salty questions. We start to ask some salty questions. Salt means, okay, I can lead a horse to water, but can't make it drink. I sure can. I can force a horse to drink water by giving it a salt lick. I can lead kids to learning, but I can't force them to learn. In this model, we can, because I'm always answering the question when I'm planning my lessons, what's going to make kids thirsty for learning instead of forcing them to learn? It's these salty questions. We have a salt lick. How many blocks make the 100th stage? Whoa. One of our other techniques in this model is to ask salty questions that we never care if students get the answer to. Then we go on and ask another question. One of our other techniques is when we're asking questions that are answer getting and solving, we want to start our questions with how does or how do. Depth of knowledge can be implemented through questions that begin with how does and how do. Let me give you an example. How do the number of blocks in stage 10 compare to the number of blocks in stage 5? Why are there not twice as many blocks in stage 10 as in stage 5? If you're looking for questions to use to facilitate exploration in your classroom, we give those to you as a part of this package. If you're looking for questions that are going to be on your task packet that you're going to copy for kids, we give you those in the slide deck. We give you lots of sample questions in the slide deck. So if we go back to what are our 4 focuses non-academically, because these need to be the foundation before. Like, I haven't even gotten into number sense and counting yet. We haven't even got into the core math solution, because all of these things are more important than the math. Kirk said this before. The emotion, the climate, the culture, the experience trumps the mathematics. We're so eager to fast forward the mathematics that we're spinning in this insanity system. Keep doing the same thing over and expecting different results. Sarah said it in the comments, and I couldn't agree more. So hopefully, and I want to open this up right now and process. And then for the last 20, 25 minutes, I'm going to go real deep into the mathematics. But I want us to process for a moment before we really accelerate the mathematics. I want us to talk about our takeaways right now in these 4 focus areas. How did what we taught you so far help you understand how to increase focus and engagement, independence, individualization, math accessibility, and improving memory and retention of content? All of these things that we know kids are deficient in. How does this session today, how has that increased? Yep, agree. What are your takeaways for these 4 parts? And lots of you have to hop off. We're going to have some discussion. Don't feel bad about hopping off. Go do what you need to do. The recording will be there. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm giving you permission to hop off. If you are going to stay on, I want to have about 5 minutes right now of some conversation of your takeaways. Then I'm going to go fast and furious into the mathematics. I'm not going to let you talk anyway. So if you need to hop off, you'll be able to listen to this recording later. But right now, for the next 5 minutes, what are your takeaways? Talk to us, unmute, talk to us, go.
Oh, I guess I'm the only one who unmuted. Um,
Go,
Go,
Kirk,
Kirk.
talk to us.
I think we are on the edge of some very meaningful things. Not to say that what you haven't, obviously, this is awesome. I come every Saturday because I learn every Saturday. But in terms of creating a new system for math instruction or math classrooms, how do we change math classrooms so that students can actually learn math without feeling horrible about themselves? We are beginning, and I want to continue to have conversations about student emotions and teacher emotions and why it is that students in school feel so badly about math. But I think if you looked at the homeschool student population, you wouldn't find as much math anxiety or math trauma. Not that it's not there. I just don't think it's as prevalent. And what's the reason for that?
I have a suggestion for that.
And I
I
have
have
to
a
blow my nose, so that's why I'm.
Yeah. I have a very good friend who is an occupational therapist who has been homeschooling her kids for the last 8 years or so. And she and I talk periodically, and it's the way they instruct. They have 3 or 4 different programs, but one of them is called Charlotte Mason. And Charlotte Mason really is the foundation of the Montessori method. And the Montessori method provides indirect instruction first, followed by direct instruction, which is exactly the way Jonily teaches. It's indirect first, followed by direct instruction, which is totally flipping learning on the head. Because what even in building brain-based learning, this book, which I talked about a little bit on Wednesday night at Impact Wednesday, they still use the method of direct instruction first, followed by indirect, where they're practicing doing homework and that kind of thing. Jonily has blown everybody's mind because she has flipped it on its head. But that's the way they're learning in homeschool is through Charlotte Mason. They are doing that same method as Jonily is instructing in the school system.
Yeah. And Singapore math is big in the homeschool communities, and it's complicated. Most people don't implement it strictly by the teaching guide, but I love Singapore math. I think it's one of the best math programs out there.
Hands down, agreed. And I want to be very clear. And actually, let me stop for a moment. Natalie, Krista, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh my gosh, I have 1,000 things
Talk
going
to us.
and
Go.
I am
Go.
fired up, Jonily. I am
Yeah.
this might be the best session of yours I've ever
Oh, stop.
attended.
Serious.
Really. Oh my gosh. But
Talk to me.
it's the culmination of a lot of different things, like just those interactions over time. Like I've been doing this for so many years now, and I'm still by no means an expert. It's my school has had the Elevate team in, and I've been doing that work on myself for the last year. And at first I was like, okay, whatever. And now a year in, I have changed as a person, and I find that bleeding into my classroom. And this week was like the best week ever. And we're doing dividing fractions. Who says that, Jonily? What? And my intervention specialist wants to immediately do keep change flip. And I was like, haha, no, I will die on that hill. In fact, I live there now. I have built a house, and that is my home on that hill. And so I got real fired up and determined to just prove it wrong, right? And so, of course, we're doing modeling and we're doing all these great things, and they're getting it, which is blowing my mind. And Friday, our start problem had dividing fractions with a remainder. We had not talked about remainders at all. We're really just modeling. We're like, how many thirds are in this? How many this are in this? And they're doing those equivalencies. As we get through, we're talking it through together. I forget what the problem. I know we were dividing by 2/3, and we're circling groups of 2/3, and we get to the end, and we can't make another one, and they're like, "Oh, it's 4.5," and I about fell over. They're telling me,
No way.
"Oh, we can't make another group of 2/3. We only have half of what we need. The remainder's a half." What?
What?
And my IEP kids, not just like what? I was
Y'all, you've heard it here. Natalie speaks.
Lord, you know how hard that has been
Yes.
to get that understanding. And they're like, oh, we can only make half a group.
Holy fart.
Oh, indeed. So I was just like, it works. It works. And yes, we will learn to like why multiplying by the reciprocal works and all those things, but just exploring and modeling and doing the work. They did remainders. Just all of the interactions, all the different things I've been doing and just seeing it work. And in a month, we'll have to redo it again and they'll forget and then we'll talk about it. But just celebrating that learning and knowing that they came to that on their own was just.
But Natalie, okay, I have to give kudos to Natalie for a moment. How many years have you been teaching, Natalie?
This is my 5th year.
5th year. And you guys, this is a process. I want you to hear what Natalie said. She's been working on herself. Interestingly enough, Natalie was Krista's student teacher. Krista and Natalie both now are Achievement Formula certified coaches. Natalie was Krista's student teacher 6 years ago. And Krista brought Natalie into this model for her first year of teaching. Now, your first, second, third year of teaching, I'm sure was amazingly clunky, but you stuck with this model. And on the 5th year, would you say you're seeing results from the model?
Oh, yeah. Not clunky and during a pandemic. Let's remember that.
Boom.
But yeah, it's so much easier to think about. It just comes naturally. The questioning, I had my observation and my assistant principal, your questions, the way you question, the way you talk, I don't confirm or deny. I always have a question. I always have a guiding. One of my kids, we were doing 8/12 divided by 2/3. And I was like, oh my God, your model shows 8 pieces, but they wrote 1/3 in each part. I was like, tell me about that. And they were able to be like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. And we were able to decide each part had to be 1/12 of the 8/12. I'm like, tell me why you put 1/3 there. Tell me about that. I'm not gonna be like, hey, you did this needs to be 1/12. Talking it through, and they're figuring out, oh, this is what I need to change. Or my question, they're like, oh, okay. So my questioning has been the biggest shift from the beginning through now, and it's being seen, and I'm seeing the results from it.
I love you, Natalie.
I love you and Krista. I mean,
Flying
if I
hearts,
hadn't
flying
started in
hearts,
Krista's
flying
class,
hearts.
if I hadn't started in Krista's class, what would I be doing? Who knows?
Natalie, that particular conversation right there has to go on the very top of our Mastery Math bundle if it's okay with you.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I hope I sounded articulate.
You did. We're gonna make you famous.
Oh my gosh, do it. I love it. Yeah, I live on this hill now. I have a house. I have stake claim. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm your neighbor.
Yeah. There's no going back. I can't not. It only gets better. There's no going back. Not that I ever was there.
You're beautiful.
Krista, but
Have a great weekend. Love y'all. Bye, everybody.
Bye.